And welcome in, everybody. Happy Monday to you. It's region weather meteorologist Matt Wentz. I promised an update on tomorrow's snow, just to keep you updated on kind of timing and stuff like that. We talked about this a lot last night in terms of impacts, that this isn't going to be a huge impactful event. It's not going to be the apocalypse. It is our first snow of the season. And we are going to see some impactful time frames that look to be kind of brief within this, perhaps one that's a little bit longer tomorrow night once the sun goes down and we get some decent snow out of it. But this isn't going to be a blockbuster snow for everybody. It's not even going to be a blockbuster snow for anybody, all right? Amounts are going to remain low. But again, we're going to have some slick travel during some time frames when that snow could be briefly heavy. So not much has changed in terms of kind of the thinking around that. So I want to take you through that. Our early bird here today is Honor Coleman on our YouTube channel. Honor, hello. Thanks for joining us here this lovely Monday evening. I hope you guys had a good day of work, school, whatever it happens to be. You're all settled in now to a nice evening waiting for Halloween snow tomorrow. I just had, and again, if I have extra saliva while I'm talking, always a threat when you're a meteorologist, especially on air. I just had, my mom makes, and this is just a quick side note, my mom makes these traditional, amazing pumpkin cookies. She makes their own dough, and then she uses like Betty Crocker frosting and mixes it up with orange food coloring. They are so good. And she makes them with the kids every year, and it's just wonderful. So I may or may not have just had two of them, which... I mean, this time of night, you probably don't want to be eating that kind of stuff. So there's that. All right, so let's dive in. I want to say hi to Sean. Thanks for joining us on our YouTube channel as well. Elizabeth, you too. You're absolutely welcome for the updates. In Honor, yeah, a little lake enhancement, more so lake effect. So we'll dive into that here in the forecast. As always, right above us, want to thank our sponsors, Tiger Plumbing, tigerplumbing.net, the place to go for that. PSAs are public service adjusters in Northwest Indiana. They do everything insurance related. They're wonderful. It's publicserviceadjusting.com. stjudehouse.org. Any issues around domestic violence, again, we covered this yesterday in our full broadcast, but they do great nonprofit work here in the region. So check them out, stjudehouse.org, and then Grieger's Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Valparaiso. All right, so here's what we're dealing with: potent low pressure. Remember, we saw this coming 10 days ago, all right? And it was like, wow, that could have some punch to it, and it certainly does. It's swirling right now through Minnesota. It was in the Dakotas hours ago. But you see a real good presentation on this, just a little compact low. It's got a lot of energy with it, some decent wind energy. It has some moisture of Pacific origin as well. And we're already seeing some real cold temperatures showing up on the backside of this. It's pulling down some more cool air. So that's where it is right now. It's not here yet. Again, first things first tonight, we've got the freeze warnings. We, again, covered most of this yesterday in the broadcast, but it's going to get real cold tonight. It's already chilly outside. Temperatures are going to drop as high pressure briefly settles in tonight. All right. So if you have anything outside that you don't want to freeze or anything like that, plants you want to keep before they go with God outside, bring them in here this evening. You're not out of time quite yet. All right. In terms of slow, let's track it out. I waited for this broadcast because I wanted to get the very latest HRRR run, which is the 18Z. That's what we have right now. And this is what we're dealing with. Here comes this compact low. Overnight tonight, no problems. Waking up tomorrow morning, rush hour, I'm not expecting any problems. As we get towards the latter half of rush hour, though, perhaps the 8, 9, 10 o'clock time frame, we're going to watch this initial band go in. And again, let's just break it up into three phases tomorrow. Again, not a blockbuster snow, okay? Headline worthy, sure, because it's our first of the season. But we're going to have really three components to this. And, you know, it's interesting. We talked about this yesterday. The Weather Service hinted on this really nicely. They had a really nice write-up on this. If you're really into the weeds in terms of meteorology, you can read it on their page. But I agree with it. We've got three sections of the storm. First one comes in tomorrow morning, and that's the leading edge, kind of the cold front, so to speak. We'll likely have snow with that. Could be briefly heavy. It won't last long, maybe an hour or so, all right, as that band goes through. And this is it. All the models agree with this is kind of how it evolves. Notice the heaviest part of that is in our northern counties. So it would favor our northern counties, but we'll see a band of snow move through tomorrow late morning as it looks right now, like mid to late morning. So 8, 9, 10, 11 o'clock, depending on timing of this. So that moves through. It's daytime. Temperatures will be above freezing then. So could it put down a quick coating? Sure. But after that happens, it should be just fine. All right. I'm not anticipating any big problems with that. We mentioned the break. I think we get a little brief break after that passes. And then the low pressure comes through just an hour or two later with the cold air aloft. It's going to be really cold up above us. And with a little daytime heating, so to speak, we're going to pop kind of popcorn like snow squalls. All right. Again, nothing's changed versus yesterday's forecast. If you joined us, these snow squalls are going to have two things with them. They're going to produce heavy snow. It'll be brief, so it'll really come down and then it'll be done. And then it'll really come down and then it'll be done. But they're also going to have really strong wind with them. There's real good wind energy with the storm system. So we could see during those snow squalls, kind of like you would a severe thunderstorm, we could see some very strong winds. And those winds, we could be talking 40, 45 mile per hour gusts in some of these snow squalls. So you're out driving tomorrow or doing whatever you're doing and everything's fine. You'll see dark clouds coming in. All of a sudden you're in a squall where visibility is just down and the wind is just howling outside, and then it goes away. Can we see brief coatings with these? Absolutely. But then it should melt right after it's done. Okay. So that's kind of phase 2 of the system. So phase 1 is that initial band tomorrow morning. Not a big deal. Could get some good bursts of snow with that, but that should go away. We should get a brief break. And then by late morning into afternoon, we're talking squalls. And that's that. Phase 3 is all lake effect. Once that part of the system goes by early tomorrow afternoon, we're done with system snow, and it's all up to the lakes after that. The fetch, as I mentioned, off Lake Michigan, it's not great, but it's good for a good 2 to 3 hour window. All right. And what I mean by that is the wind aligning all the way up the lake. This happens tomorrow later in the afternoon, especially tomorrow evening and tomorrow night. And what we'll probably see, what most of the models are agreeing is that we see a nice band of lake effect snow develop. It'll be rain offshore. That's why you're seeing this in the modeling, because the lake's still pretty warm. So it'll be raining out over the lake, but once it hits land, it'll turn to heavier wet snow. Okay. All indication is tomorrow late afternoon and evening, we see a band develop back towards Chicago and perhaps Lake County, Indiana. All right. So our folks in Lake County, this is for you. That's where the lake effect band looks to start. We could have embedded heavy chunks of snow within that. And then as we go throughout the evening and overnight, as the winds veer, as this next high pressure moves in quickly, we'll see that band transition. And if you've grown up in lake effect territory, you know what I'm talking about. It happens all the time with wind shifts. We'll see that band go from Lake County into Porter County, eventually LaPorte County, before winding down Wednesday, probably midday as it looks right now. So in terms of the modeling on this, let me get in and go a little bit closer, just so we can kind of look at the minute details in this. I like the HRRR run. I like this model run. I think it depicts kind of what's going to happen nicely. It's been very consistent as we've gone throughout the day. I look for consistency in models. So here you go. This is tomorrow morning. That's that initial band that goes through. Then we have a little quiet time. Can you tell I have kids? I said quiet time. And then here's the actual squally nature to the snow tomorrow afternoon. So bursts, and then you're dry, and then a burst, then you're dry. And then the low goes through right there. This is now tomorrow evening. This is like 10 o'clock, 11, 12. Notice how we've developed lake effect by tomorrow at midnight. And it's off towards the west at first, and then it comes east. This is now 6 a.m. Wednesday, and then it's out of here. All right, it's done. So that being said, let's look at accumulations. It's not crazy. There's nothing crazy about this, but there's some, all right? And yesterday I said I think it's going to be hard-pressed to get an inch or two out of this. I now think it's going to be easier to do that, but it's going to happen after sunset, all right? Totally different ball game once the sun goes down. Snow can accumulate pretty easily without, having factors from solar radiation, stuff like that. So during the day, I think it's going to be hard-pressed to get over an inch. I think we may get a coating at times. It'll melt. We'll get another coating. It'll melt, all right? That's not for everyone. That's for those that see the squalls. Tomorrow after sunset, though, I think it's a different ball game, and that's all lake effect that we're going to be dealing with then, okay? So that's only the areas that see that lake effect band develop, all right, which is going to favor Cook County and Lake County, and then it's going to shift east. So not a huge snow for anyone. Where this band sets up, could we get 1 to 3? Absolutely. The modeling here is saying a good 4 in LaPorte County. We'll see. I would say a general 1 to 3 for most of these areas. If that band does sit perhaps before it leaves, yeah, could we get an additional inch or so? Sure. All right, so that's your accumulation forecast. General 1 to 3, it's going to favor the snow belt. So Lake Porter and LaPorte counties. Lake County, you are in on this one. I know a lot of times it's out towards the east, not the case here. I want to show you more global models just to show kind of what they're thinking as well. This is the Euro, pretty similar experience here, anywhere from 1 to 3 inches. Let's go to the GFS. GFS pretty similar as well. This is the 18Z run, pretty much same thing. Anywhere from an inch or 2. I don't think this goes far. Yeah, it does go far enough. This is the latest GFS, and notice it's a little bit lighter. And then my favorite, the Canadian model. You know how I feel about the Canadian model. You always got to check it. You don't believe it, but you got to check it. And anyway, a good 1 to 3. Okay, so that's how it's going to pan out tomorrow. Again, cold tonight. Tomorrow morning, rush hour, no problems. We'll be watching some band move in from the west, though, so get to work on time. You should be fine. We get a little burst of snow, puts down cosmetic coating, and then that will probably melt. And then we go dry for an hour or 2, and then we'll develop some squalls as that low comes through. Gusty winds, reduced visibilities, very likely within those snow squalls. Not everyone's going to see a snow squall, though, okay? And it's not going to be constant. There's going to be times where it's not doing anything outside tomorrow. And then tomorrow afternoon, late in the day, late afternoon into the evening, we watch that lake effect band develop as that low kind of curls by. It'll pick up moisture, good 2-3 hour fetch over the lake, and then it comes inland. So, and that's the one that could produce some better accumulations because the sun will be down by then, okay? That includes trick or treat. So trick or treat time, we'll have some squalls around. I don't think it's going to be a constant snow, but it is going to be just darn chilly for the kids tomorrow. Really is. Those communities that had it on Saturday are much better off, but that's in retrospect. Okay. All right. Let me see what I have for comments here. If you guys have questions, go ahead and ask them. Otherwise, we'll let you get on your way here on this Monday evening. Jonathan says, PSA is great. They got me a new roof. Absolutely. 5-star reviews across the board for them. So again, if you have any insurance stuff whatsoever, go right to them. Don't go to your insurance agent. They'll handle it. They'll talk to them for you and get you more than you need. I thought La Nina, Tom says, but I thought La Nina was keeping us winter free. Yeah, well, we're heading into El Nino now, Tom. So of course not, right? And Tom, I think you were part of my speech yesterday just about El Nino and La Nina, how big of a deal and how much weight we put on that locally. Who cares what it is? Our winter's going to do what it wants to do. Okay. And we've got a pretty early start here right now. It does look to moderate next week. So there's that. This will be brief. Hi there, Mary. Mary's with us. Julie says, thanks, Matt, for all your forecasts. Really enjoy them, as well as daily emails in my inbox. Awesome. Don't forget we fall back this weekend. I can't forget that. The kids don't care about time changes. All those of you with kids probably despise time changes because obviously your kids still wake up the same time. Let's see. Yeah, we do gain an hour's sleep. Absolutely. So okay. Jennifer asks, will trick-or-treating be significantly impacted 4 to 7? I don't think significantly, Jennifer, but we will have snow around. We're going to have bursts of snow, and it's going to be real windy at times. So it's going to be cold. I think it's doable. It'll be a memory, but make sure they're bundled up. Make sure you're bundled up too. Probably best bet's going to be to have the car or the van or whatever it is, and have them jump out and then come back into the warm vehicle. All right. But I'm a dad who, I've got, again, 4 kids now, but 3 young ones, one super young, like a week old. I'm all about memories. All right. If it's terrible out, if it's raining and pouring outside, we go outside. All right. So that's how I would treat tomorrow. Dress for the elements, but do it anyway. It's going to be a great memory for that. You're welcome. All those of you said thanks for the update. Absolutely. Maxwell, good point. Yeah, there is a real good chance of some thunder snow tomorrow. These snow squalls are going to have good convective nature to them. So they're going to develop like thunderstorms tomorrow. Instability over the lake is going to be off the charts. So yeah, I think thunder snow is a real distinct possibility as we go throughout the day tomorrow, especially tomorrow night. Best chance for that would be out over the lake or just inland. And also keep in mind, our lake's still warm, and so we're likely not going to see any significant accumulations right near the lake shore, okay? The influence of the lake will go in probably a mile or 2 in terms of probably no accumulation along the lake shore. It keeps us warmer. But as you get inland, a mile or 2, probably the Borman South, that's where we'll start to see some of the accumulating snow. Kelly, that's a good question. So the southern end of the counties, I think, stand just as good as a chance as the northern half. We're going to have a decent wind off the lake, so that'll blow these lake effect bands further inland, whereas if we had a light wind, the lake effect would stay mainly up towards the lake shore. So equal chances for you to see 1 to 3. even in the southern part of the counties. And as how windy, and sustained winds tomorrow are going to be anywhere from 15 to 25. But then once this low goes through, that's when the winds really ramp up. So we'll probably have a good 20 to 30 mile per hour. And we're going to have gusts within these snow squalls going over 40 at times. So it's going to get pretty gusty tomorrow afternoon as these move through. Probably late morning is when you'll start to really feel it. And then by afternoon, it gets even worse. Yeah, for sure. I see Max Lisa probably look like cumulus clouds. Yeah, there's going to be good growth to them. You should see it pretty well. Carolyn asks, will Jasper County see snow? Yes, Carolyn, not quite as much, but you'll get in on that initial morning band might not make it as far south as you. It may. It's going to be favoring mainly north. But after that, everyone sees the snow squalls tomorrow, all right, as that system kind of pinwheels its way through. Just to kind of show you the coverage on it here. There's our initial band in the morning. I mean, it has Jasper County in there. And then after that moves through, see how these snow squalls, they're everywhere. It's not just lake effect. The only lake effect portion of this is late, right here. Once this thing goes by, we'll get some kind of band off the lake. But this snow is going to be area-wide tomorrow. But the problem with Jasper County is you're probably not going to see a lot of the snow after sunset. All right. So because of that, accumulations are going to be a little bit lighter for you. Maybe a coating to up to an inch for you. Okay. Most of the snow accumulation tomorrow is going to come after sunset from whatever lake effect band that develops. Good question, though. Kathy asks, what about Wednesday morning? Kathy, Wednesday morning, we may have some slick spots. They would favor Porter and LaPorte County because that lake effect band will be moving out there. So we could have some slick travel Wednesday morning in those locations. It's not a guarantee, but temperatures will support slick roads if they're untreated. It just depends on where that band sets up and how long it lasts, but it looks to be getting out of here as we get into the latter half of the morning Wednesday. So Wednesday morning commute, I would say mainly Porter and LaPorte counties, we could see some slick travel. If Lake County doesn't treat the roads, which I would imagine they would, if they don't treat the roads at all, then we could see some residual effects from what happens earlier in the night in Lake County. I would imagine they'd handle that. Diane, thank you very much. Appreciate that. Yeah, Heather, we certainly have been. Heather says, is Valpo going to see snow? Yeah, you're going to get some snow in Valpo, Heather. Not a big deal. 1 to 3 is what I'm going to broad brush Lake Porter and LaPorte counties with. Most of that happens tomorrow after sunset, and especially tomorrow night. That would be with the lake effect band that moves through. Okay. Jerry, I love your comment. Just a public service announcement here. Can we remind people that the left one is the brake pedal and the right one is the gas? Use them accordingly. Always some crazies out there driving when it starts snowing. It's crazy. Honor, yeah, you're going to get some snow over in McLean County. Not as much. I wouldn't bank on a whole lot, but there's that. But yeah, you'll see some snow as the system, at least in the air, as the system kind of works its way through. Adri, yeah, Cherville's in it 1 to 3 tomorrow. Again, catch the beginning of the broadcast if you can. We describe kind of when it moves through. Initial hit in the morning, a little coating that should melt, and then we'll turn to more squalls during the day. I know it sounds scary, but it's not going to be. You're going to have snow, wind, and then it's nothing for a little bit, and then snow and wind. So I don't think there's going to be a lot of accumulation during the day. Kelly, absolutely welcome. Yep, for sure. And I think that's it. I think that's all we've got. All right, guys. Hopefully that helps you plan your day tomorrow. That's the whole point. Other than that, we'll have updates on the radio side of things tomorrow morning. I'll also have my email update out. If you're not subscribed to that, go ahead and do so. It's regionweather.com. You sign up on the right-hand side for email to your inbox. You get a personalized little forecast in the morning, something I type up real nicely here and send out with a little graphic. That's it. We don't invade your inbox other than that. Just something to wake up to, okay? All right, guys, we'll be with you tomorrow. Happy first snow this season and happy Halloween. We'll talk to you tomorrow.